Hello, kids. This is Tolbert's class, biology. This is lesson 1. This is chapter 7, lesson 1. This is an overview. There's going to be some cells and some cell information. Living things and their parts. The world of the living is not easy to define. Biologists recognize that living things share certain features. And by the way, today you should be starting your very first summary on Schoology. Living things reproduce, grow, develop, they need food, they use energy, they're made of cells, they respond, and they adapt to the environment. Let's look at each one of these. Reproduce. To reproduce simply means to form offspring, similar to the parents, which means have babies. That's kind of how we think of it, or replicate. To grow is different. To grow can be like replication, where you make the exact same, so you make more skin cells if the skin gets broken. But to grow is in that case, but it's not like reproduction. Living things grow using materials and energy from the environment to increase their size. Develop. Development is all the changes that occur as a living thing grows. Yes, you need food. That food is your energy. All things that are living need food. A living thing can either make its own food or not. If it makes its own food, it's called a producer. Producers make their own food. Consumers eat producers and consumers. Producers are living things like plants. Consumers are things that eat other things like us. In this picture, you have the fox and the rabbit. Both of those are consumers. Whereas the only producer is the carrot. Please write this down. This is the order of living things. You also need to know this definition. Energy is the ability to do work. That is a definition. I'll ask you that question on the test. People are third-level consumers, but we may not choose to be. People are third-level consumers. Producers on the bottom, primary consumers, and then secondary consumers. We're can be considered the apex predators. Living things use energy. Energy is the ability to do work. That work is moving things is moving and changing things. Animals get the energy from the food they eat. What's a cell? A cell is the smallest unit of matter that can carry on all the processes of life. Who first discovered the microscope, or first was with the microscope? One microscope was made by Dutch drapery store owner Anton van Leeuwenhoek. With his handheld microscope, Leeuwenhoek was the first, and you need to know this, to observe and describe microscopic organisms of living cells. So Leeuwenhoek, Anton van Leeuwenhoek, he saw living things, where Robert Hooke, he saw dead things. So you kind of like the movie, I See Dead Things. So Robert Hooke, dead thing, cork. Living things was actually Anton van Leeuwenhoek. In 1665, an English scientist, Robert Hooke, used the microscope to look at dead things, to look at cork. He's the one that coined the term cells. You need to know these 3 parts of cell theory. You need to know cell theory has 3 parts. The 3 parts of cell theory is all organisms are composed of 1 or more cells. The cell is the basic unit of organization of organisms. All cells come from pre-existing cells. And this is the end of the first unit, the first lesson. You need to know that the botanist Matthias Schelden, he said that plants were composed of cells, while the zoologist Theodor Swan says that animals come from cells, and the guy that put it together, he was a physician, the German physician, Rudolf Virchow. He concluded that animals arise from animal cells and plants arise from plant cells only.